love it. It's great. I've been here a couple times before. Yeah. I used to live in Singapore, and you know how close it is. And yes, it's great. Well, recently I've been pursuing my creative interests. For example, I've been painting, and I've also been doing courses on interior design, yeah, which is actually my childhood ambition. Yes, well, I grew up in the Philippines. I grew up in Manila, and in a place like that where you see a lot of poverty around you, I mean, you see that, you also see prosperity. It dawned on me from a very young age that I had to do something about this, even though I didn't know exactly what it might be. And it was only in business school when I was doing my MBA that I realized this is it. I have to figure out what I would do for probably the next 5, 10, 15 years. And I hope that career would allow me to make a difference. And so I didn't know what I would do. I didn't even know that a career in philanthropy advisory was possible, or that such a job title existed. But as I made it my goal to find something that was a right fit for me, I met someone who was a philanthropy advisor through a chance encounter. And to make a long story short, he hired me, and I've been doing this for the last 8 years. One of the challenges is that whenever people meet me or hear what I do, they think, oh, so your job is advising rich people how or where to donate their money. And it's not quite the case. People usually already have a fairly clear, a fairly good idea of where to put their money. And I'm often hired when things go wrong, when things are suboptimal, or where there's something within the family dynamics that is not going very well because perhaps there's a disagreement between the first and the second generation, or there are mixed messages that they're sending to the public and there's a confusion about what they stand for. So people often tell me when they find out what I do that, oh, your job is to advise these people where to donate their money. Tell them to donate it to me. Well, a couple of things inspired me to write my book. And it was, in particular, the idea that in giving, there's so much that the giver can get. I mean, it's really about the transformative power of giving upon the giver. And these are essentially about 5 things that happen when you give. And the first one is how you find your purpose in life. And isn't that what we're all looking for? And the second thing is that your career becomes not just a job, but it's elevated into a calling. And then the third thing is that for many people, if they have very painful experiences in life, they are able to overcome these difficulties. They're able to almost recover from this pain through helping others who have gone through the same thing. And then the fourth thing is that giving helps us get closer to our family members and friends, even our spouses or children, if we have a shared passion for a cause that's beyond ourselves. And then the last thing is that giving helps us find meaning beyond material wealth. The last chapter is, I think, my favorite chapter. I actually laugh to myself when I read that because I'm very frank. Well, throughout the whole book, I'm very frank about how I feel, and I mention things that people might not necessarily agree with. And in this chapter, I talk about how to give in such a way that actually leads to your personal happiness and fulfillment. because the opposite can be so true. Giving can be annoying. Frankly, it really can be. It can be so depleting. It can be so exhausting to be approached by nonprofits, fundraisers, all the time. And can you imagine being a wealthy person with a foundation? The moment that they find out you're giving money away, there's an endless queue of people lining up to get some of that. And I can imagine that at some point you'll just feel like, whoa, I should not have got into this philanthropy business because it is really annoying, right? So in this chapter, I talk about the different ways that we can give in such a way that we feel what the wise sages and saints have been saying all this time, that it's in giving that we receive, that giving is the most wonderful thing that you can do. And how can you achieve that when the opposite can be just as true? And this is a chapter that discusses that. Well, there's actually a chapter in my book entitled From Career to Calling. And it covers several things, one of them being the trend these days that among young people or even mid-career professionals, even retired people, are looking for ways to find more fulfillment. And perhaps they have not been able to find that in their career. And they think, I get so many people approaching me saying, I'd like to transition from for-profit to non-profit because I have found no meaning in my career. But you asked me about the workplace setting. I don't think we need to leave our careers, whatever career we have. If, for example, we're in the for-profit arena, I don't think we all need to quit our jobs and work for a non-profit. Because even within that workplace setting, there's so many things we can do to find fulfillment through giving. And that could be as simple as sitting on a board of a charity that we care about, perhaps volunteering, basically just giving our time, whether to one person who needs our help or to a huge organization that we care about. Yes, that's a great question because the title of the book I wrote is The Giving Way to Happiness, which suggests that all sorts of good things can happen if we give. And yet I'm perfectly aware that the complete opposite can be just as true. That if we are generous, if we give our time, if we give a lot of ourselves, we can feel depleted, we can feel annoyed, we can feel taken advantage of. And unfortunately, that could lead to burnout. And in fact, I was in a meditation retreat just very recently, and I was told by the leaders there that we get a whole lot of people here from the nonprofit sector because they get burnt out. These nonprofit leaders give so much of themselves that they burn out. So it's very important to take care of ourselves first. It sounds selfish, but we would have nothing to give to others unless we pay attention to our own needs first. Thank you so much. It's wonderful to be here.